During high school or college, especially in earlier years, there aren't many opportunities to earn a decent amount of money. The Nintendo Switch shortage during COVID helped me boost my net worth, and I was able to invest quite an amount of money into stocks. In this video, I'll give you deep insights on how you can also get into reselling video games and earn some money in college or high school. Even though those times are gone, I see a new chance for this business idea right now. Stay until the end of the video for more information on that. This is Forever Weekend, the format where we stop, reflect, and talk real. I'll share with you my personal experiences, which might also help you. Just honest thoughts about how to actually build a life that feels like a weekend, not just 2 days a week. If you want to stop surviving and start living, this is the space for you. During COVID, there was a shortage of Nintendo Switches. I found out people sell bundles of Nintendo Switches plus games way too cheaply, and they sell off so quickly it's pretty much free money. Because I bought my now wife a Switch console, I found out about it. I want to share with you how exactly it worked out for me. Maybe it will work out for you too when the right moment for this strategy comes up again. I think many people are not precise enough when talking about business ideas, so I'll give you detailed insights on how it worked out for me. So, first, a little story time. In fall of 2020, I bought my wife a Nintendo Switch. She had seen Animal Crossing online and she just loved it. But she is so humble and never really wanted to spend that much money on a gaming console. So I started looking online on the German equivalent of something like Craigslist in the US to get a used one cheaply for her. I compared offers for a few days because I wanted to save some money, of course, because at that time we were already into that saving and investing and fire mentality kind of thing. But it stressed me out so much. There were so many different offers online at the time, and I didn't know how to actually find the best deal. I was doing this actually while I was working at a student job at the time. I didn't have much to do, so I was really thorough with it. I started adding up the prices of the individual items, like an extra controller, extra Joy-Cons, and the individual games. I looked them up beforehand, like Smash Bros. Was 35 to 40 euros at that time, Pro Cons were 34 to 40 as well, and cheaper games were like around 20 euros each. Turns out that if you subtract those individual items from the bundle price, the console itself is only around 100 euros most of the times. At a time where it sold off for 250, 280 because they were so hard to find in stores these days. So I bought the first console for her, sold the items she didn't want to use, and also found out they were selling off so quickly that it's a super liquid business. As I learned in financial classes in uni, this was the kind of business that's most profitable. But usually, with high liquidity comes low margins. But not in this case. Every deal had a margin of around 30 to 50%. I bought bundles for 300 euros and sold the part individually for 450 to even 500 euros. It was bundles of like a Nintendo Switch, extra Joy-Cons, 3 to 4 top games such as Mario Kart or Zelda or even Smash Bros. I was even able to sell Switch memory SD cards for 10 to 15 bucks. Even the bad third-party charging stations and steering wheels for Mario Kart sold off so quickly. The people were just crazy after Nintendo Switches back then. It was just a crazy time. It got really crazy when Christmas approached. People apparently didn't want to buy huge bundles for 4 to 500, but wanted individual consoles. This was a huge success factor for me. I bought the huge bundles and gave people the opportunity to buy the console without games, and also people to buy games relatively cheap. Compared to other resellers that were unfriendly and greedy, I knew how business was going. Big money comes from selling much stuff, not only a few items way overpriced. I sold games with a discount of 5 euros compared to them, and people were storming in for those games. It made it also so much easier for me to buy deals. And while others tried to negotiate the price down, and I'll just ask them for their address and told them I was there quickly without even negotiating the price. Sometimes I even offered a few more bucks so they don't sell it to others. I had consoles stacked up to the roof at some point, but everything sold off so fast. I think over the time of 2 or 3 years, I must have sold 1,000 Mario Kart 8s. Sometime in 2021, Switches started to wear off a little, so I looked for new business opportunities. And I found out that retro Nintendo consoles were the next big thing for me. N64s and GameCubes were also very profitable, but way less liquid. They sticked around for way too long, and it was only this week I sold off my last N64 items. As you can imagine, at some point I stopped entirely. Yes, I also lost interest, but the opportunities also faded away. Maybe it's because to the life cycle of switches, or as I honestly believe, because of the economical downturns, especially here in Europe. Inflation is really bad, and people start looking after their money more carefully. They want to get the most out of the things they have and sell them not in cheap bundles anymore, but rather individually and at the price they're actually going for online. So, was it all worth it? I'd definitely say yes. Not only brought it in lots of money, but it also helped me develop skills and the confidence to build something on my own. I learned that when shit hits the fan and I just can't keep working in a corporate hellhole anymore, I will be able to do so. Though it was really hard for me to handle the constant pressure. You develop this FOMO. I have to check for new postings. Maybe there is a missed opportunity and I will lose money. It can lead to burnout and definitely has. Keep in mind, I studied at that time. I had tons of exams and theses to write. Then I also worked a student job, which was most of the time 20 hours per week, but in the semester breaks, it was 40 hours a week. Yeah, money wise, I tracked expenses and income for the most part. It made me around 2K a month on average, at some peak points, even as high as 3 to 4K a month. When you factor in, I was able to invest that money into index funds and I was able to let it grow up until today. It really helped me boost my net worth. I would say it's a viable option if you're still in high school or uni and want to accelerate your net worth growth as well. Maybe I'll talk about investments in a future video as well. So, how can you copy this business idea? Look for bundles and know the individual prices very well. It only really works out with Nintendo. It's really hard to find out which prices the games actually sell at and how fastly they will. So, you should value them rather conservatively. You should look up the lowest price of the games first, then subtract 5 to 10% on top of that so you can make sure the games sell off rather quickly. PlayStation games will sell very slowly and aren't really worth anything at all because they release way too much of the same franchises. Nintendo, on the other hand, is more selective and releases very little games of their major franchises. If you sell them with a minimal discount, you'll have a buyer instantly. You shouldn't buy bundles that have tons of bad games. They won't sell and will just make you tons of work. Also, get more efficient over time. Just have a single ad with Mario Kart 8, for example, rather than posting it multiple times, as it saves you a lot of time. Also, don't negotiate with people too much. Post it for a fair price and don't even answer people trying to lowball you. You're looking for the maximum money per hour. Always be friendly as well. You don't want to be that fishy backyard vendor. A lot of honest families who just want games for their kids or sell their kids consoles will sell to honest, friendly people. When it comes to buying, pick it up fast and reliably. People will give you discounts much likelier and won't sell to others. As I promised before, I will also tell you about a new opportunity I see at the moment. As the Switch 2 will get released soon, the Switch 1 is thrown out carelessly by many people because they want to get rid of it and buy the new consoles. Yesterday, I was able to find two amazing deals after a long time online, and I'll keep checking for some easy money on the side. Yes, it will definitely get harder for you to sell the console itself, but if the games with it are high in quality, it's no problem. The good thing about Nintendo games is that the main titles always keep their value because Nintendo doesn't really do discounts. You will be able to sell the console cheaper than others do, so you don't sit on it for ages. Maybe it's even worth it keeping the Switches you buy in the next few months for a year or so, as people notice the new console is way too expensive, which makes you even more profit. I noticed this as well for the Wii U. At first, it was thrown out by most households, but now it's getting up in price, just as the 3DS does. But this is a type of business I wouldn't recommend too much, as you could just invest that money that lies around in consoles into stocks which are way safer and much more stable. If my message resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more future videos where we'll dive even deeper into topics like simplifying life, escaping the rat race, and creating a version of success that actually feels good for you. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to share your perspective in the comments below.